Alright, what is up everyone? So in this video, I'm going to build a gaming PC, or I'm going to try to build a gaming PC with the parts that I have in my shelf. So I did make a video of me showing you guys my room setup, my gaming setup, all that stuff, and the stuff that I have on my shelf. And now I want to make a gaming PC, and I want to build a gaming PC and use it to play older titles, you know, something the PC can handle. I don't know why, if it's just me, but I like building older computers. So we're gonna do like a little shopping, you know, not really shopping, but just picking out parts to build a computer. I don't know what CPUs will work on these motherboards. I know some CPUs, like the 4th gen Intels, I know it will work with which board, but then some older boards, I'm not too sure which CPU, so I do have to do my research on that. But yeah, so the board that I'm going to pick out to build this computer is probably going to be I don't have an MATX case. I was gonna use this board here. This one right here. But it's a little too small. I don't want to put this in a ATX case. It looks super small, and it only got 2 memory slots. So the only 2 options would be this MSI. Oh, it's got a, well, that's not an M.2 slot. Okay, I thought that was an M.2 slot. It looks like maybe a Wi-Fi slot. But this is probably the most modern motherboard that I have parts for, probably. So it's this one, the Z87G45 Gaming by MSI. So I'm either going to build using that one or this one. This is much older. It's an Intel board. It's got 1 PCIe slot and some PCI slots. There's a SATA cable. It's got 4 RAM slots. And don't know what CPU this supports, but I'll do my research. But definitely older than this one. Let me see the CPUs that I have, and then whichever CPUs, you know, performs better, or you know, it's better for gaming, I'll choose whatever CPU works with the board. So we're gonna go to my little CPU box here. My CPUs right here. I'm gonna take them all out. Oh, throw it on the table. These are Xeons in the back, Xeon CPU, so they will not work. You put the CPU there. Alright, so here's the board. Alright, so this one is the i7 3770. So this is already a really good gaming CPU, and that's definitely a contender there. What is this one? This is the G2030 Pentium Intel. It's a Pentium, so it's only got 2 cores. This one is a G3420 Pentium, also 2 cores, probably. I'm not 100% sure. And what is this? This one is the i3 2120. This one will definitely not work with this one, but it may work with this one, I think. It's an i3, so it's definitely better than the Pentiums, probably. And then this one is the i3 4160, another i3. So you got 2 i3s and 1 i7. And then the last one is the i5 7500. So I definitely do not have a motherboard for this chip. So this one is definitely not in here. And these are probably not going to be in here either. On the other side. So it's either these i3s or this i7. And I can already tell you that this 4160 will work with this board. But I don't know if this i3 2160 or this 3770 will work with this board. Alright, so it's settled. I'm going to be using this board, this Intel board with the i7 3770 for our build. So back goes the MSI, and there you go. So we get our board and our CPU. Now we need a cooler and memory. So let's go to our memory. All right, so right up here we got our RAM, and I already know that I'm probably going to choose these right here. These are the Corsair Vengeance 16 gigs, 2x8, 1866, DDR3, I think. Yeah, they have to be DDR3. Yeah, DDR3. So I'm going to use this 16 gigs of memory. There we go. 16 gigs. We have more RAM here, but yeah, I think I'm just going to go with that 16 gig kit. Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to close that. Next up, we need an SSD. Alright, so we don't have an M.2 slot, so we can't use M.2. We're going to have to use an SSD, SATA SSD, and a hard drive probably for games. Or we can use like this is a 500 gig SSD here from Corsair. Sorry, Crucial by Micron. So it's a 500 gigabytes. We can use a 500 gigabyte for our boots and for games, or we can install a 240 gig SSD and install our games on a hard drive, which is probably what I'm gonna do, just so we can have a hard drive in there. Let's see. All right, we got Timetech. This is a 256, I believe. Yeah, 256 or SanDisk. Oh, we got a T-Force. I'm probably gonna use this one, Timetech Premium SATA 6 gig, 256 gig SSD. All right, so I choose this one. Okay, so our parts so far, we got a 256 gig SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, i7, and an Intel motherboard. All right, next up, we're gonna need a CPU cooler, and that shouldn't be hard to get because I'm just gonna use a stock Intel cooler. A milk crate of cables. Just one cooler, please. Take that. No way I don't have an Intel cooler. Oh, there it is. Voila. Intel cooler. Cool. So we got that one. Okay, so we got the cooler. Now, what else do we need? We need Wi-Fi. So right up here, I got two Wi-Fi options. I got this TP-Link 300 megabits per second, or this wicked Asus, what the model on this? PCE AC88. Obviously, I'm gonna go with the TP-Link, just cheapest, most basic one. I'm gonna just choose this, and we will have a slot for it. So we got a slot here. That would fit right there. I was actually worried that there were gonna be slots. I was like, we can't connect them to here. So thankfully we have these two. Okay, next up, hard drive. Now I'm definitely already decided on this one. The Western Digital 500 gigabyte black. So it should be a fast drive. Faster than, well, I don't know if it's faster than the Barracuda, but I'm just gonna use this one. All right, what do we need? What do we need next? GPU. All right, so we got a 970 with two 6-pin power connectors, or we got a 1080 with one 8-pin and one 6-pin connector. 1080, great for 1080p gaming, or the 970, 4 gigs. And I think the best option, I think the i7 3770 can handle the 1080. I don't know if it'll bottleneck or not, but I feel like they're a good match. This i7 is pretty powerful. It's really old, but it's still good for gaming nowadays. So I think I'm gonna choose the 970, and if I do, get performance issues on the games that I want to play, I'm not trying to play any crazy, newer games, just like indie games, horror games, stuff like that. I'm gonna try this one. I'm gonna be playing in 1080p, so alright, I choose the 970 by Zotac, from Zotac. Alright, so the next piece is, oh yeah, we need a SATA cable. So down here, got my cable. Oh crap. Okay, down here I got my little SATA cables. Got my little SATA cables. And I hate the 90-degree ones. I'm gonna just take this one. I need two, so this one and this is 90-degree too. 9 degrees. Yeah, I'm gonna take this red one and this one right here. Alright, so we got two SATA cables, one for the SSD and one for the hard drive. I'm going to use the basic monitor that I have on my desk already. Now for a case, I think I have already decided on a case as well. We're going to be using this case here. It's simple and just black. So I'm going to use this one. And I think this supports 140 millimeter fans. We need some fans. Alright, so should we use Noctua fans? Yes. Why wouldn't I use Noctua fans? Alright, so got a Fantex fan here. Alright, I'm gonna use these two Noctua fans for the front. And I don't know if the rear one supports the 140. If it does, I'll use this. If it doesn't, I'll use this one, Fractal, for the rear. I think that's it. I don't think I'm gonna use top fans. It does support one top fan. Hell, I have more fans, so let's see. What should it? Corsair. Oh. Actually, before I start thinking about fans, how many fan hubs does this have? Rear fan, CPU fan, front fan. Okay, so it only supports 3 fans. Well, 2 because the CPU, of course, has to be connected. Do I have a hub? Let's see. I need a fan hub. I don't even know if I have any. Probably do somewhere. Let me check in here. My random cables again. Oh, look at this. Fan splitter. One of these goes to 2, so I'm going to use this one for the front. And it's a Noctua splitter, so this will be used for the front, and then one for the rear, so I won't use the top fan, just an exhaust rear one. Cool. Cool. So we have the case that I'm going to use, and we got the parts. So let me go over the parts. Intel board supports the 3rd gen Intel i7 3770, 4 cores, 8 threads. We got 16 gigs of DDR3 from Corsair. We got a 256 gig SSD from TimeTech, WD Black, 500 gigs, SATA cables, CPU cooler, 970 from Totac, case fans, and our case. And I think that is all we need for this build. And the IO shield, which I do have. One of these. One of those will be the correct IO shield for this board. I'll just have to find it. But yes, so this is the parts. I am done shopping on my. I'm done collecting the parts. So next, I'm gonna start building the PC. All right, so we have all our parts, and we have our case. I think the last thing I forgot to pick was a power supply. So I got this EVGA 450B3. The reason I chose this one is because it has the VGA cables to power the GPU. I have a couple more power supplies, but they only have a 6-pin or only an 8-pin, so it won't work with this one that uses two 6-pin power connectors. So I won't be able to use those other power supplies. But this EVGA should be, powerful enough to power all this. Alright, so there's another issue. I was planning on using these Noctua fans for this case, but I took it apart. And I took the front off. And it looks like it only supports 120 millimeter. And it already has fans on the case, so I'm just gonna leave them because they are powered. Oh, shoot. They are powered by this Molex connector. It does have fan hub connectors too, but I'm just gonna power with the power supply if I have the right connections, and I don't. So I can't even power them with my power supply. So I will have to use these two. I do have a splitter, so I will be able to run these. And then this has a fan already installed in the back. So these fans I will not install. So I will not install these fans because the case already has some. Alright, that's one less thing to install. Alright, so I'm going to start building the PC. just look at this beautiful computer, completely built. It looks amazing. It's gonna run, and it's gonna play a lot of games. So if you can see, the cable management is not great, especially for an older case like this. There's not much you can do. You can make it look nicer, but I really don't care about how it looks. Like I said, this is a computer that I'm building out of leftover parts that I have, and I'm gonna be playing games on this computer, putting it to use instead of computer parts collecting dust, and eventually if they stop working, I'm just gonna use them until they stop working, or I'll give this computer to one of my family members or sell it for cheap. Either or, I'm just gonna put them to good use, don't want them just collecting dust. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and install Windows, and hopefully it installs Windows and it boots up. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna show you the full specs on the Windows system info, and that'll be all for this video. So let me go ahead and install Windows. Alright, so I'm finally done installing Windows, and it looks like it's working fine right now. So I'm going to show you that the components are working. I still need to download the drivers for the GPU, but I'm going to do that now. It's actually downloading the drivers right now for that. Let's see, we got network, so the Wi-Fi is working. I just connected to my Wi-Fi. CPU, we get that i7-3770. It's a 4-core 8-thread processor. And then let's see, I should have just opened Task Manager first. Okay, so Task Manager, performance. So CPU, there it is, i7-3770. You got 4 cores, 8 threads right there. And then for memory, we got 16 gigs of DDR3. The speed it's running at is nowhere to be found. Yeah, this one doesn't say the speed, but it should be 1688 or something, or 1600, something like that. Here's our TimeTech 256 gig SATA SSD, and then we got our 500 gig hard drive and our Wi-Fi adapter, Qualcomm Atheros. Yep, it's not an Intel one, it's a Qualcomm, I guess. And this is our flash drive that we use to install Windows. So everything is working. All I need to do is update the drivers, and I'll be good to go. Gaming on this PC. Anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. I know